And we're live. Welcome back for another stream. How are we doing? Welcome back for Gameweek 24, everyone. Hope you're all doing well today. Thanks for all the nice messages this week as well. I went to Arsenal versus Brentford last weekend, and the guy who was sitting next to me was noticeably sick. He wasn't well at all. He was like coughing, he was sniffing, blowing his nose. And obviously when you're at a football match, it's not like you can move seat or anything. So I was stuck with this guy. And I didn't want to be rude, so like we talked lots as well. But whatever he had, he gave me. So that's why I didn't upload the FPL tips or team selection video this week. But I'm all good. I'm back. We're live for the deadline. So thank you all for being here. Appreciate that. Welcome to the stream, Milan, Paulo, Colin, Ben, Danny, Ash, Oscar, Mohammed, Fen, Schlock, Kinga, Austin, and many more. Good to see lots of members in the chat as well. Welcome to the stream. All Harry in the chat. How are we doing, Harry? Why aren't you streaming today, Harry? I know you said in our group chat you weren't streaming today. Are you away? Or are you just going to be bothered? Welcome, Rocket. Hope you're all well. Welcome to the stream. So, yeah, lots to talk about today. I know it's a game week where a lot of us are going to be rolling, but there's lots to talk about. Obviously, game week 25 is very relevant already, because we've got a double and a blank game week there. We'll be talking about chip strategy. Obviously, we've had the double game week 27 announcement. We've got the blank game week 28, of course, and then double game week 29. So there's loads coming up further afield that we can start talking about now and start to plan ahead for. So, yeah, get your questions in the chat. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Kilman or Tarkowski. So, yeah, on that subject, in game week 28, Everton are guaranteed to play, while Wolves aren't necessarily guaranteed. So I think Tarkowski's the better pick. Obviously, they both double in game week 25 next week. It's close between them. I think Tarkowski. No Harry or Raptor stream. No Harry or Raptor. Almiron or Andreas. I would give it to Andreas. Between those two. I was considering starting Andreas, but it's difficult to pick who to bench here. Akanji was an absolute nightmare. Oh, don't even get me started on Akanji. Benched once since joining City, and that was back in Gameweek 19. And then he's benched for both of the double. Absolute disaster transfer. I could have gone something like Bruno to De Bruyne or Almiron to Mahrez last week, but it meant a booked in -4 in Gameweek 25 for me, so I ended up swerving that and just going for the defender. But I should have just rolled the transfer, to be honest with you. Classic Pep roulette. Start Ødegaard or Neves. Ødegaard. Free hit in Gameweek 25. No, I wouldn't. I think the free hit's going to be far better used later on in the season. Maybe Gameweek 28, maybe Gameweek 32. Those are both blank game weeks. I would save it. You coming up, Teddy? No. I can't. Not now, Teddy. Can't play. I'm streaming. THJD says Andreas or Nonto. I think I'd favour the forward there. I'd start Nonto. Chase the upside. Nonto's look brilliant as well, so I would go for Nonto between those two. I mean, they both have what probably will be a difficult game. Andreas is away to Brighton, and I think Nonto's away to Everton. Is that right? Yeah, because I've got Patterson here. By the way, did you guys notice the update this week? They've updated loads of stuff here. You can view recent form, things like XG, XA, XGI. I think they've made a few tweaks to the layout. Do you guys like the changes to the layout, or do you think it caters too much to a more casual player? What do you think? Do you like the update? I think it's cool. I think it's good to have stuff like XG, XA. Makes it even easier to pull out the stats on the fly now. Normally I have to dig into my custom tables on Scout. I'll still use those every week, to be fair, because you can do things like looking at game week ranges and that. But yeah, it's nice to see game by game that sort of data. Come on then. Here he is. Welcome to the stream, Teddy. Looks chaotic. Yeah, I mean, they've added a lot. There's a lot more going on here now. So if you're in favour of less is more, then yeah, it's worse in that sense. Connor says everything's put on a plate for casuals these days. I mean, I'm probably partly responsible, to be fair, making videos, breaking everything down as simply as I can. But yeah, I know what you mean. This update is a step in that direction even more. I haven't actually looked, but I assume you can now sort by things like XG on the transfer page. Is that a thing? I've not actually even thought to try that, but I suppose that would be a thing, wouldn't it? XGI total. Oh, interesting. De Bruyne, Salah, Saka. Salah. And you're planning to get Salah back in for 25? I am, I'll be honest. I'm going to get him back in for Bruno. Start Xhaka or Andreas? I would go Andreas. Any City team news? No City news. I don't know if we'll get any, to be honest with you. I did send a DM to Leak Lineups, Team News and Ticks last night, just to see if he would get anything. He said not likely, because it's a 3 o'clock game. If it was the first game of the day, then we probably would, but it's not. In Game Week 26, Man City are the first game of the game week, so I imagine in Game Week 26 we'll get early Man City news. They play at 12:30 on Saturday. But yeah, when it's a 3 o'clock game, probably not. I'll keep an eye on though. He said he'll keep an eye out as well, just in case he gets anything. So if we get anything on City, I'll let you guys know. Because obviously it's a big one. Like if we found out that De Bruyne's benched or Haaland's benched, something like that, it's absolutely massive. I think the chances are very low. JSI says, hope you're feeling better. Start 2 out of Cucurella, White, Tarkowski, Nonto and Shaw. I'd start Shaw. Cucurella we'll talk about in a sec. He's not even in the squad for today's game, my understanding is. So it's between White, Tarkowski and Nonto. Again, I think I would just favour Nonto. I would just go for the attacker, chase the upside. So yeah, Nonto and Shaw. Let's do the news roundup and we can talk about Chelsea and a few other bits and bobs. The start of Everton. I don't know if anyone out there still has Patterson. I'm a Patterson owner, and he did play for the under-21s this week. So yeah, he tweeted, "Good to get the hour as planned and blow away a few cobwebs." So good to see Patterson back. I really need him for Gameweek 25, or I'll be down to 10 men unless I take a -4. Just a quote from Arteta I wanted to share. He said he's had an impact every time he's been on the pitch. He's an option. So yeah, as we kind of predicted, he's been eating away at Martinelli's minutes. They compete for that spot down the left. I think at some point Trossard even gets a start. I don't know if it's this game week or not, but I would say if you can make the transfer for free, I would get rid of him for Saka or Odegaard. If you can't this week, then I would strongly consider it in Game Week 25. Because, yeah, again, I think we're going to see him off early. Maybe he gets a bench in at some point. It was something I said last week about Ben White, and then that was exactly what happened. He was benched for the City game. Newcastle news. Callum Wilson still hasn't trained, but expected to today. This was yesterday. Following a hamstring strain. Could be in contention for today's game. And some news on Willock. Hamstring reveals no serious damage. Doubtful for Liverpool, but a chance for the cup final. Almiron and St Maximan are fine. And then the Chelsea news. Reece James isn't in the squad for today's game. According to C345 Sam, who's very reliable for Chelsea and other team news. He also tweeted, I didn't mention it here because he tweeted about it afterwards, that Cucurella, Ziyech and Thiago Silva aren't in the squad for today's game. No Cucurella or Thiago Silva in defence. So, previously my plan was to start Kepa, but I've moved it over to Ederson now. I've got it wrong so much this season, the Ederson and Kepa rotation. I'm taking a chance on Ederson in light of the news that Cucurella and James and Thiago Silva aren't in the squad. We'll have to see how that works out. But what are you guys doing? Is there anyone else that owns Ederson and Kepa? What's your plan? Tatenda says, I asked you 3 times why you're benching Shaw last week. Pity you missed my super chat. Oh, I wish I didn't miss that. Sorry I did miss that. To be fair, it was really close last week. I had to pick one of Andreas Almiron. It was Andreas Almiron and Shaw to start. I just thought with Man United missing Casemiro, I fancied United to concede. I think their XGC was actually pretty bad as well. Yeah, look, 1.83 XGC as well. And obviously immediately the match before, Leeds put 2 past them. So I was backing Leeds to score basically because I thought everyone would be starting Shaw. And I just needed to try something because my rank's so bad. I'm nowhere near where I wanted to be. So I thought that was an opportunity. And in the end, even Shaw played centre-back. But yeah, it couldn't have gone any worse. In the end, Shaw obviously started. After the hour mark, he moved to left-back and he got the assist. So yeah, well played if you had him. I just felt like it was an opportunity. But yeah, didn't work out in the end, that one. Haki says RIP Atsu. Yeah, I saw that this morning. RIP to Christian Atsu. The news was that they'd found him under the rubble in Turkey after 2 weeks of searching. He was playing for a team in the Turkish league. Yeah, and he played for Newcastle as well for a few years before moving away. I actually even had him in my team a few years back. He was a 5 mil midfielder, I think. He was a pretty good enabler. He was pivotal as well in the season they came up from the Championship. So really tragic news. Thoughts go out to him and his family and everyone else affected in Turkey. Obviously, it's dreadful what's going on there. Morning, Joseph. Transferring Kilman or Tarkowski. I prefer Tarkowski, but it's close between them. Masawan says clean sheet bookies odds. Yeah, I've got the bookies odds. Let's have a look at the clean sheet odds, which are as follows. Obviously, this is from before the news that James, Cucurella and Thiago Silva aren't in the squad for today's game. It does favour Chelsea. Chelsea are top of the clean sheet odds. City are close behind, 47% chance. Wolves 45. Arsenal, Brentford tied 39.5% chance. Sorry, Turkey and Syria. Yeah, thanks for the correction. Mitrovic or Weghorst? Mitrovic. Do you think Akanji starts? I think he does. He's been benched twice in a row. I think Pep will rotate somewhat this week because they've got the Champions League against RB Leipzig next week. So I think he does, yeah. I do think we'll see one of De Bruyne or Mahrez benched, if I'm honest. Maybe Alvarez starts, and yeah, one of them I think will be benched. It's impossible to know what's going to happen. I mean, if we get any leaks, then I'll share it with you guys immediately. But I don't know if we will because it's a 3 o'clock game. Mitrovic or Martinelli? I would say Mitrovic between those two. With Martinelli, you know, he comes off early now. I think at some point he might even be benched for a game for Trossard. So I would say Mitrovic. He is a doubt, but I believe he's expected to be okay. It was just a knock, I believe, with Mitrovic. Do I remove De Bruyne for Bruno Fernandes this week? Definitely not. I mean, that doesn't make sense to do that this week at all. In Gameweek 25, Bruno blanks. He doesn't have a fixture. De Bruyne's got a fixture against Bournemouth away, so if anything, you'd be wanting to go the opposite way. But this week, if you've got Bruno, you keep hold, in my opinion. There's no one worth selling him for. It's not worth going Bruno to De Bruyne, Bruno to Mahrez, in my opinion, this week. Start Ake or Ben White? I would start Ben White. Again, I'm not sure if Ake starts or not. I saw a quote from Pep's press conference, and he was talking about the different qualities that different players bring to him. You know, like Laporte's got the ability to play the balls. He's composed under pressure. Ake's more of a out-and-out defender. They have their different qualities, but basically, you know, his comment said to me that neither are nailed. Seems risky. Obviously, Ben White was benched last game, but I think he starts this one. So I'd say Ben White. So, yeah, thank you everyone who's tuned in so far. 2,000 tuned in. Is that right? That's way higher than I expected to be. Because obviously, like, this is a week where a lot of people are rolling the transfer. I know there's still lots to talk about, and we will talk about chip strategy and so on, but surprisingly high. Maybe it's because Harry and Raptor aren't live. There's a bit of spillover from there. But yeah, welcome to the stream, everyone. If you are new to the channel, if you're regular watchers of Harry or Raptor, usually, welcome. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Like the stream if you're enjoying it so far. Chris says, morning, bruv. Start Bueno or Andreas Pereira. Bueno or Andreas? I'd start Andreas. Am I right? Bueno's been benched the last 2 in a row now, which is a bit concerning. I mean, they do have really good clean sheet odds, so there is potential for him to come back in the team and keep a clean sheet, but I think I'd start Andreas. I'd start Andreas. I think you'd kick yourself if he's benched again and he comes on, as he has done, for another 1-pointer. Danny says, I liked the stream. Shaw or Lewis to start? I would start Shaw between those two. Start Trossard or Nketiah? Nketiah. Kukurea out confirmed. Yeah, I mean, it's not officially confirmed. It's a leak, but it's from C345 Sam, who's really reliable for Chelsea news. And he basically said last night that Reece James isn't in the squad. And then he later added that Kukurea, Ziyech and Thiago Silva are also not in the squad. He's a really reliable leak, so I would trust him on that one. Adrian says, start Trent or Trippier? Trent or Trippier? I think Trippier. That's close though. Trippier. Yeah, I think it has to be Trippier. I'd be surprised if Liverpool keep a clean sheet. It's going to be a tough game for Newcastle, but they're playing at home. And considering how poor Liverpool have been defensively, there's every chance that Trippier even gets an attack in return this game. So I would start Trippier. Jealous that you've got Trent already though, because I'd love to have him in 25, but I'm not sure how I'd get to him. I could do something like Kane, Bruno, Shaw to Darwin, Salah and Trent and triple up on Liverpool. It's very aggressive for the double game week. So I'm not sure yet. I don't know if I want to go all in on Liverpool like that. Yeah, James not in the squad. Bueno or Trippier? Trippier. Start Trent or Ream? Trent. Felix over Mitro. Yeah, I'd rate Felix over Mitro. Yeah, Felix, he's on my watch list. I think he's going to be an awesome pick. I think I may end up having to sell Nketiah, maybe Game Week 26, 27, when Jesus is back. So Felix could be the answer. Maybe Tony, because Tony doubles in 27. Let's have a quick look at the fixtures, and let's just talk about what's coming up. We've got the Game Week 24 now, right? This is just a single game week. This ticker I've made, which is just the teams that have either a blank or a double coming up. So Arsenal, Brentford, Brighton, Everton, Liverpool, City, United, Newcastle and Wolves. So in Game Week 25, Brentford, Brighton, Man United and Newcastle don't play. It's a blank game week for them. Why have I put City here? That's a mistake. City aren't meant to be on this. They've just got 2 singles. Arsenal, Everton, Liverpool and Wolves have a double game week 25. So this is why it's actually a good week to roll the transfer, if you can. Because we want to target this game week 25 next week. And it's better to do that on the week, if you can, rather than doing it now. But it depends how your team's set up. You know, you could bring in a player like Tarkowski this week. He's home to Leeds. That's not a bad fixture. Wolves are home to Bournemouth. That's not bad either. Kilman's a good transfer. So there's a few options there. But in 25, yeah, that's a big game week because Liverpool double. Not sure how I'll lean for captaincy, whether it be Salah or an Arsenal player. Saka will obviously be a popular captain. So yeah, I guess the takeaway message this week is if you can roll the transfer, then I would roll it. And then you can spend 2 or even 3 transfers, or even 4 really, because it's a blank and a double. You know, you could sell players that blank and bring in players that double. So you can really justify -4s or even -8s next week. And if any of you guys watched the Expert series on this channel, it was something like 82% rolling the transfer this week. Mohit says, bench Ake or Trippier. I'm going mad on this. Need to get it right this game week after benching Shaw and Andreas last game week. I would bench Ake. I would bench Ake personally. I know City are better on the clean sheet odds, but Trippier's got the attacking threat. His clean sheet odds aren't that bad. And we know what he's capable of. Top scoring defender. I wouldn't bench him. Just double checking I haven't missed any super chats before I carry on. I hate missing them. I feel really, really bad. Someone messages me, you know, on Twitter or something like, you missed a super chat. Apologies. Moving on. These are the double game week 27 fixtures. So this is the next key game week. And there's only 4 teams that double in 27. Brighton, Brentford, Crystal Palace and Southampton. This one's going to be really difficult because we've got the blank that comes straight after in 28. So this is where we have to start thinking about chip strategy. Liverpool are one team that double in 25 and might not blank in 28. So one way you could go is to just go all in on Liverpool in 25. And then get to game week 28. And if they don't blank, then you should be able to field 11 with some well spent transfers. Mikhail says, got 2 free transfers. I need to prepare for game week 25 and 28. Shaw, Patterson, Castagna or Edison out for Kilman, Tarkowski, Raya or other suggestions. I would keep hold of Patterson for now and let's see what happens. Shaw makes sense to sell, but if you can, I would roll the transfer this week. I'm gonna be selling Shaw in 25. I'll probably bring in Tarkowski. That's my plan. I think you keep hold of him. You know, he's got Leicester at home. I think that's a fixture where you start him. Yeah, I think I would roll the transfer if you can. Oh, sorry, 2 free transfers. Sorry, I missed that completely. So Shaw, Patterson, Castagna or Edison. So I would sell Castagna out of those. It depends who your backup keeper is, though. Depends who your backup keeper is. But, you know, if you've got Kepa, then Kepa's fine to just keep hold long term. And then you could sell Edison for Pickford, for example, who has a nice double in 25. Hard to say about knowing your full team, though. Castagna to Tarkowski makes sense. I understand why you're looking at Raya, because they double in 27, so there's a few ways you could go there. It just depends on the rest of your team and your chip strategy, really. Like if your backup keeper plays in blank Gameweek 28, then Raya makes sense. So yeah, I'd be selling Castagna for Tarkowski or Kilman. Honestly, they're so close this week. Wolves have got the better clean sheet odds. The double in 25 is about on par, but Everton are guaranteed to play in 28. So that's why maybe Tarkowski edges it just about. I suppose he's got more goal threat as well. So Castagna to Tarkowski makes the most sense to me. Akanji to start. I hope so. I think he will. I'm starting him this week. We'll see. I hope he does start because, yeah, otherwise he probably will come off the bench, which he has done every game he's been benched in. What's your plan for Game Week 25? Asks Sophus. I'll probably go Bruno to Salah, Shaw to Tarkowski. I don't know if I'll take a -4. If Patterson plays, then that puts me at 11 players, I think. It would be Ederson, Gabriel, Akanji, Salah, Ødegaard, Kane and Nketiah, Haaland, Andreas, Patterson and Salah. Did I say Salah twice? I think that's 11 players, so that's probably what I'll do. I don't know if I'll take a -4. I don't know who's got the first fixture in Game Week 25, to be fair, whether we might get early news there. Thanks for the super chat, Taufik, as well. Appreciate that. Thank you. Almiron or Ake? I'm just not sure if Ake starts. That's the thing. It's really hard to say if Ake starts. I'd probably start Almiron. Scored last game week. I'd start Almiron. Jordan says, "Hi Oscar, why Akanji instead of Almiron?" My gut feel is that Akanji starts this one, but to be fair, I was totally wrong last game week and he was benched for both games. He'd only been benched once all season before that, since joining City, so that really surprised me. I think Pep does rotate though, because they've got Champions League next week, so I think Akanji comes back in. I think Almiron was carrying a knock. I don't know if he's okay now. I suppose he is because he's not flagged, but it's close. I mean, City are, I think they're second on the clean sheet odds, so I'm just going to back that. Thanks for the super chat, Aloe Black 88. Thank you for that. Captaincy poll. Yeah, let's do a captain poll. Good idea. Who's your captain? So we'll go Haaland. Yeah, really this week there's 3 standouts, so it'd be interesting to see this. But if you have someone else as your captain, then let us know in chat. Boom, let me know, who's your captain? Did that work? Yeah. Who's your captain? Haaland, Rashford, Kane and other. Get your votes in. Andreas says Salah for me. Mahrez, Jacob's got Mahrez. I think Mahrez is a bit bold this week. I don't know if I'd captain Mahrez in a single game week before Champions League myself, but that's just me. Kumbi's got Mahrez as well. Interesting. Salah. Erling. Felix cap. That's a differential captain right there. Fair play. Start Gabriel or Martinelli? Gabriel. Saka absolutely paid off last week. Well played to those that went Saka. John says he loves the polls. We'll do more polls then. More polls to come. Jan says chip strategy if free transfer already used. Wildcard and bench boost left. So if I still had my wildcard and bench boost but not free hit, I think the best way to play it is to prepare for blank Game Week 28 using free transfers. I've got Ben Krellin's graphic here actually. I'll just explain it in case anyone doesn't know what they're looking at here. These are the fixtures in Game Week 28, moving across here. This column here, blank percent, is the percentage chance of that fixture becoming a blank in Game Week 28. Now obviously this is really far away, but it's something we have to be mindful of, because if you get to this week and you've got like 6 or 7 players, then you have to use a chip. Or obviously, if in Jan's case, if you've used your free hit already, then you've just got the wild card. This isn't a good week to wild card, I would say. So I would spend your free transfers looking at the fixtures here. Arsenal play, so you triple up on Arsenal. Chelsea play, so Felix, Kepa, that's 2 there. Nottingham Forest and Newcastle, so Trippier. You could bring in a second Newcastle defender like Botman, maybe Pope. Wolves and Leeds, about a 40% chance of becoming a blank, so that's the lowest. So that's why players like Kilman aren't a bad shout, because they have a double in 25 and they're likeliest out of the potential blankers to play in 28, if that makes sense. We won't know until nearer then. I think it's around Gameweek 26. After Gameweek 26 we'll know who blanks and who doesn't. It'd be ideal if Liverpool's fixtures go ahead as well, because you could bring in someone like Salah in 25, maybe Trent. That's how I would do it. I would use free transfers to get through this week, and then I'd probably wildcard in game week 29. I'll see if I can find a graphic from Mikhail Tokvam where he's projected the doubles and blanks for the rest of the season. So this one here. Can you see that or not? There's a lot going on here, but basically the numbers represent the number of fixtures. So for example, 2 in Game Week 25 means 2 guaranteed fixtures. So if we look at Southampton, Brighton, Brentford and Palace, they double in 27. I think he's put a 10% chance of it not happening because of the train strikes. I think there's a train strike that could affect the double. I don't know whether that was worth putting there, but I suppose so. But as you can see, Game Week 28, 11 teams expected to play. So Game Week 28 should be the biggest blank game week of the season. But this is the difficulty. Game Week 29, probably the biggest double game week of the season. So in your case, Jan, and everyone else listening, one way you could do it is to use your transfers to get you through Game Week 28. You could dead end your team even, so just bring in players that you won't want beyond 28 that have a game, and then wildcard into Game Week 29. Alternatively, if any of you have your free hit still, you could wildcard in 27 and then grab some players like Brighton players, Brentford players, because as you can see, they are almost certain to double in 27 and 29. So you could have like Mitoma, Dunk, Sanchez, Tony, Ben Mee. You could have a few players that double here, free hit in Game Week 28, and then your team reverts back for Game Week 29. So that's one way you could play it, but yeah, it depends on your chips remaining. But hopefully I explained that well enough. ABC says, Ødegaard or Nketiah to bench. I do have Saka. I wouldn't be benching either. Is there no one else you can bench? I wouldn't want to bench either of those. If I had to bench one, probably Ødegaard, but there must be someone else you can start. There's no way Ødegaard or Nketiah is your 12th best player this week, surely. Creator James. James reportedly isn't in the squad today. For those that tuned into the stream late or missed it, there was a leak yesterday that Reece James isn't in the squad for today's game. Kukurea, Ziyech and Thiago Silva also not in the squad for today's 3 o'clock Chelsea game. Fernandes for Saka. I like that move a lot, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. There's no harm in giving that one a week, to be honest with you, but yeah, it's a transfer you could make this week. Nothing on KDB. I don't know if we'll get any leaks before the deadline on City, but I'll keep an eye just in case. Captain poll results. So 72% are on Haaland, 21% Rashford, 4% Kane, 3% other. Interesting. Haaland lower than I expected. 72%. Jay says, morning bud. I've got Trippier, Gabriel, Shaw and Andreas. I'm starting with Tarkowski and Castagna on the bench. Is my bench okay? Or also Kepa or Ederson? Are you free hitting in Game Week 28? So Trippier, Gabriel, Shaw and Andreas starting with Tarkowski and Castagna on the bench. It's just Andreas that you can make the case of benching. What would I do there? Yeah, it's a coin toss between Andreas and Tarkowski. I think Castagna's fine. I would bench Castagna. It's just Andreas or Tarkowski. I think I'd leave it as it is. Andreas is fine. Kepa or Edison's going to drive me mad this season. I was starting Kepa until the leak that James, Thiago Silva and Cucurella all aren't in the squad. It could still be a fairly strong back four. I suppose it could be Chilwell or maybe Lewis Hall, Azpilicueta right back, maybe Koulibaly and Badiashile centre back. I've got Edison starting myself personally. It's really close. I was on Kepa until that news, and now I'm not so sure. It's not like they've got one player missing from their back four. Thiago Silva's a big miss. James is a miss as well, so I've gone for Edison. Master says Haaland versus Forest without both centre backs. Yeah, exactly. I was looking at Rashford captaincy, but I know that Forest have got a couple of injuries in their defence, so that kind of nudged me back towards Haaland. I did tweet last night about it, as anyone not captaining Haaland, because I think Rashford is still a good option. And so is Kane, to be fair. Dry Brief says, hi Oscar, how have you been? Yeah, I've been alright. I was a little bit unwell during the week. Yeah, I was saying earlier, I went to Arsenal last weekend against Brentford, and the guy who was sat next to me was noticeably sick. I don't know if he should have been at the game, but he was sat immediately to my left, so we were chatting lots. You don't want to be rude, you can't move seats during a football match, it was a sellout, so we were talking quite a bit as well. But whatever he had, I think he gave to me. So yeah, I was unable to do 2 videos this week, but I was able to do the who to buy and the expert, so that's fine. Yeah, I'm okay now, thank you for asking. Kilman or Trippier? Trippier. Almiron or Mitrovic on the bench? Almiron. Bueno or Botman to start? I think I'd take a chance on Bueno there. Oh, sorry, did I miss a question earlier about if I was going to free hit 28? Yeah, it was Jay, wasn't it? Jay said, are you free hitting in 28? I'm not sure yet, basically, is the answer. I quite like the idea. I've got a screenshot, actually, from yesterday's experts video. I quite like the idea of this chip strategy. You wildcard in 27, free hit in 28, and then optionally bench boost in 29. I quite like that, because you can tackle the 2 double game weeks and the blank game week in between. But there are downsides to it, like it does put you in a bad position for game week 32, which is also a big blank game week. So I'm not sure yet. I'll probably decide depending on whether Liverpool blank or not in 28. If Liverpool play in 28, then I might be tempted to just save the free hit. Not sure though, because yeah, it's hard to say right now. We'll have to see what happens. But if you commit to not using a chip in 28, then it makes 27 very difficult, because you can't bring in like Brighton or Brentford, because they almost certainly blank in 28. Good luck to everyone who's in the FPL Cup, by the way, which starts today. The round of 32,768 starts in the FPL Cup. If you're not in my mini league, there's a link in the description to join it. I'm up against Ahmed Hamoud in the round of 32,768. What's his team like? Oh, he's 100k. Oh, his team's really good. Oh, I'm going to get knocked out in the first round. Mahrez, Saka. He's got Mahrez and Saka. I don't have either of those. And he's got Kane. I need Bruno to do something this week. He benched Shaw last week. My team's very similar to him, actually. That's interesting. Anyway. So yeah, for those asking, I'm rolling the transfer this week. No transfer made. I'll spend 2 transfers. Maybe 3 in Game Week 25, but definitely 2. ABC says, second one. Well, I have Saka, Odegaard, Mahrez, Rashford, Bruno, Fernandes, Nketiah, Kane, Haaland. Who to bench? Keep up the good work, Oscar. Yeah, that's a nightmare. I'd be more inclined to take a chance benching Mahrez. It seems really risky, but I wouldn't feel good about benching Nketiah or Odegaard. They're guaranteed to start. I know they had a bad game week 23, but what would you guys in chat do? Would you take a chance benching Mahrez? Or would you bench one of Odegaard and Nketiah? It's one of those three. Odegaard, Nketiah or Mahrez. If it was me, I'd be tempted to bench Mahrez. It's Mahrez or Odegaard. If you think Mahrez will start, then bench Odegaard. But I'd be tempted to take a chance on benching Mahrez. Chicken says, triple captain Haaland today or Arsenal players next week. I wouldn't use it on Haaland in a single game week, personally. So I'd use it in game week 25 on an Arsenal player. You could use it on Saka, or if you have a way to get Salah in, then you could use it on Salah. It's a nice double game week for both Arsenal and Liverpool. These are the fixtures again. Arsenal are away to Leicester, home to Everton. Liverpool away to Palace, home to Wolves. It's not a bad double at all, so I would use it on an Arsenal or Liverpool player. Yeah, I'd probably bench Odegaard. I mean, that's a stacked team to have to bench Odegaard, I have to say. Oh, I wouldn't triple captain Nunez in game week 25, personally. Right, let's have a look at the scout selection for game week 24. They've got Raya in goal, back three of Reece James. I guess they did this before the leak of James not in the squad, or maybe they don't even look at leaks. Gabriel, Dawson, Saka, Mahrez, Rashford captain. Wow. Mitoma, Haaland, Kane and Tony. I didn't spot that. Rashford captain. What do you guys think of the team this week? Scouts have actually been smashing it in recent weeks, but they've had a mail with James. Obviously, they did this before any news or leaks that he wasn't in the squad for today's game. But yeah, it's a good team. Rashford captain is interesting. This was the other reason I was looking at Rashford captain, because right now everyone's got Rashford, everyone's got Trippier, and pretty much everyone's going Haaland captain. So it means that you actually don't gain much. You don't gain anything from those three players if you captain Haaland. Obviously, the risk is that if you captain Rashford and then Haaland outscores him, then that hurts your rank even more. But it's just so boring, isn't it? Having three players and none of them affect your rank. So every game week, it's like an 8-man game. Every game week is just down to the other 8 players. But yeah, I'm sticking with Haaland captain. Morning, Matt. How we doing? Mark says Rashford captain based on minutes. This is exactly it. This is the argument for Rashford. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Haaland comes off at 60. We don't even know 100% that he starts. He probably will. But obviously there's that aspect to it as well. Pep might look at the Champions League next week and think, oh, I could bench Haaland away to Forest. You know, I could start Alvarez and that's fine. Or he could just play strikerless like he has done, like he did last season. Whereas with Rashford, you just know he's good for minutes. You look at his recent minutes, 90, 90, 90, 90, 90. It's just all 90s. So yeah, that's the argument. The longer a player's on the pitch, the likelier they are to get you something. Do you think Lewis plays? Hasn't played in a while now. Yeah, I think Pep shakes it up a bit. I think Lewis probably starts, yeah. Pep likes subbing Haaland off at half time. Is that true? I mean, I wouldn't be at all surprised. If the game's wrapped up by 60 minutes, he'll be off. 100%. Malcolm, thanks for becoming a member. Thanks for the support. Appreciate that, Malcolm. If anyone's interested in becoming a member as well, It supports the channel, and you get early access to my videos. There's a private channel on the Discord for members. You get a little badge by your name. Yeah, and as I say, it supports the channel. So thanks for that, Malcolm. If anyone's interested, it's the join button below the stream, or in the description there's links to become one. Who's the king this week, asks Live United. Yeah, let's do kings of the game week. Get your guesses in the chat. Who's going to be the top scorer in Game Week 24? It was Saka last game week after his 15-pointer. I think, didn't De Bruyne also get 15? Or is that wrong? When it's a tie, it goes to the lowest priced player, so it was Saka. Guesses in the chat. Who's it going to be this week? Morning, Cider. How we doing? Semedo. There's no way it's Semedo. Harrison says he's severely hungover, Oscar. Let's go Game Week 24. Hope you had a good Friday night, Harrison, wherever you went. Felix. Felix is a good shout. Darwin. Allison hat-trick. If that happens, I'll delete my YouTube channel. Kane, Salah, Ward, McAllister, Haaland. Interestingly, Ødegaard's been the king 3 times. That was Saka's first time. And that was the 6th Arsenal player. We had Nelson back in Game Week 24 off the bench. I think he got like 2 goals and assists off the bench. Saka again, back to back. Has anyone done back to back this season? I don't think so. No, not this season. I think it's happened before. I think Salah might have done it before. It's incredibly hard to do though. Because like I said, even when it's tied, it has to go to the lowest priced player. Akanji or Trippier? I'd say Trippier. I did contemplate benching Trippier, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. You know, Liverpool, they haven't been good defensively, have they? They've been really, really woeful. They've been leaking goals. I know they kept a clean sheet last week against Everton, but they were missing Calvert-Lewin, and it was at Anfield. I don't know if we'll get any early team news today. I'll keep an eye out just in case we get anything. It's just City that we care about, but I don't think we'll get anything. I sent a DM last night to Leaks Lineups, who gets the City news, and he said it was very unlikely. And he's not actively asking for it because he's out today. But yeah, he said he'll keep an eye just in case he gets a DM. So yeah, if we get any City team news, obviously I'll relay it to you straight away. But I'll be surprised. When's the deadline? Is it 11 o'clock? Yeah. Okay. So we've got what, 40 minutes? Yeah, we've got 2,100 tuned in. I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream so far and all the content I've prepared for it. If you have, please hit like on the stream, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I do deadline streams every week. We try and cover as much as we can, and during the week I do lots of FPL videos as well. We're coming into that crunch part of the season where we've got the blanks and doubles coming up, so if we can navigate these weeks well, effectively, then there are rank gains to be had, and I'm desperately seeking a rank game. I'm having an absolute mare of a season so far. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but FPL Review, they've got this tool where it reviews your season based on XG and the massive data model. And it's quite a good way to look at whether you've been just making bad decisions or unlucky. Let's say you captained Haaland and he missed 3 open goals from a yard out. That's just unlucky. You wouldn't say that's a bad decision that you've captained him and he's blanked. So you can look at things like XG to see if you're actually making good decisions or not. And I ran that, and my XG rank was 20k, and my massive data rank was top 10k. So, and my variance was something like minus 60 points. So yeah, it's been a brutal season. I've never had one like this before. But that's the challenge of FPL. It's an unforgiving game. So anyway, what rank are you guys? Let me know in the chat. How are you guys doing this season? What's your rank? Luna says I've been a bit lucky. Have you guys been unlucky or lucky overall? What's your overall rank? FPLreview.com /season FPL-review, or you just go to fplreview.com. You see it at the top. Samuel says, I love FPL. We all love FPL. That's why we're here. You went out in Bath last night. You got a Mackey's double sausage egg muffin on the way. And looking at rolling the transfer. Come on. Well in, Harrison. Hope you had a good one. Good choice of breakfast as well. Sietzi is 4k. Podence. We've got Podence in the chat. I guess he's out injured at the moment, isn't he? So he's got time to be on the FPL streams. Podence is 1.5k. Magoo 1.7 mil. Shahir is 96k. Heike 37k. Thomas 650k. Saeed 2.8 mil. Action 20k. $1 mil. Dropped from 800k to 3 mil just before Christmas. Climbing again now. That's a good climb. At least you're climbing again. You're bouncing back. That's the worst part. I've been climbing so good since the restart. And all of that work was undone last week. Look at this, guys. This is the last game. It was actually unbelievable. Last game week, 59 points. I looked at the game week, and it was one of those weeks where I was like, I'm actually really well set up here. You know, I was happy to have Bruno when people were selling. Kane I was happy to have. Nketiah, Ødegaard, they've both been doing pretty well. Both blanked, obviously. Everyone's got Trippier, he blanked. Everyone was on Captain Haaland, he was my top scorer. Everything went wrong. I benched Shaw and Almiron. So much went wrong last week. 59 points, and all my work since the restart was undone in 1 week. Absolutely brutal. But that is FPL. It's an unforgiving game. Janega says, bench 2 of Shaw, Bueno, Dunk, Gabriel and Trippier. Based on what I've just shown you, do you even want to trust me on benching decisions? I would start Shaw. I think I'd start Gabriel and Trippier, and I'd bench Bueno and Dunk. If we knew Bueno starts, then I think it's a different story, but we just can't say he does. I think he's been benched for the last 2. $3.7k overall, very nice. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm not the only one who benched Shaw at least. That makes me feel a bit better. You know what, actually? Fabio Borges benched Shaw. Many consider him the greatest FPL manager of all time. His average career rank is like 4k. In his entire career, like 8 years. So that made me feel a bit better as well. But yeah, that's FPL, innit? It's probably going to happen again this week. Kepa keeps a clean sheet. Edison concedes to Forest somehow. Kepa or Edison. Exactly, Kepa or Edison. I was starting Kepa until last night. And then we had the news that Reece James isn't in the squad. Cucurella's not in the squad. Thiago Silva's not in the squad. So I'm taking a chance on that and starting Edison. It's not 100% confirmed. It's a leak, but it's a very reliable leak, I would say. So I would trust it. Ziyech as well, but no one's got Ziyech. Oh, I need to tweet my team actually. Let's do that. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter, it's at fplfocal. Same on Instagram. Gameweek 24. Roll the transfer. Let's do a little lock emoji. Perfect. Done. Maybe I'll add below. Taking a chance with Edison, James, Thiago Silva. Do you guys use light mode or dark mode on Twitter? I use dark mode on Discord, light mode on Twitter. Rahul says, bench Trippier for Mitrovic or Andreas. Do you expect Paul to score? Thoughts on Ake starting? I did consider benching Trippier for Andreas, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. You know, there's still a reasonable chance Liverpool don't score. Trippier keeps a clean sheet, and obviously he has the attacking threat. He could get an assist. Obviously he's on free kicks as well, so I couldn't bring myself to bench Trippier, the top scoring defender. Bench 2 of Shaw, Bueno. I did that one. Good, all caught up. Keep your questions coming. I hope you've enjoyed the stream so far. We've got about 30 minutes till the deadline. Everyone hit like if you're enjoying the stream. We've got 2,100 tuned in. Awesome turnout today. And if you're here for the first time and you normally watch Harry or Raptor, then welcome to an FPL focal stream. My rank is absolute garbage compared to theirs this season, but I'm enjoying the season, and I hope you are too. Yeah, I'll keep an eye in case we get any Man City leaks or news. I don't think we will, because it's a 3 o'clock game. As I was saying earlier, I spoke to Team News and Ticks last night in DMs, and he said he probably won't get anything, but he'll keep an eye out. And if we do get anything, then I've got... I'll get the alert on my phone, so then I'll just pass that on to you guys. But it's unlikely. I do think we see an upset in the Man City team today. I don't know what it'll be. Maybe one of De Bruyne and Mahrez is benched. Hard to say. As long as it's not Haaland benched. And if Haaland's benched, then it's a huge advantage to anyone who's captained someone else. I think Rashford and Kane are probably the most popular alternatives. Brian says, hey Oscar, if Arsenal lose today, will the title hope be over in your eyes? Not over, but it'll be hard to recover, I think. Such a poor run of form, but definitely not over. Definitely not over. I just don't know if City go through another poor patch of form like they have done. So yeah, I think Arsenal really... They have to win every game over this run coming up. It's a decent run of fixtures. Villa, Leicester, Everton, Bournemouth, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Leeds. These need to all be wins. It wouldn't be over though. It wouldn't be over. But yeah, City have got a good run as well. And if they get ahead, I think they'll just hold on to it. Start Andreas or Bueno. The problem is, Bueno was benched for the last 2 games, right? And Aït-Nouri's been doing alright in his absence. So I just don't know if Bueno gets a start again or not. What do you guys in chat think? Is there any Wolves fans in chat? I think I'd start Andreas and just play it safe. Because if Bueno's benched, he will almost certainly come off the bench, which is what's been happening the last 2 games when he was benched. You don't want a one-pointer from a defender. Is Mitro fit? I think they're going to do a late fitness test. I believe he is expected to be okay. He's in contention to play. Why start on Shaw considering Leicester's amazing attacking form? Well, it's Shaw or Andreas or Almiron. I think I have to start Shaw. Bench 1 of Trippier, Shaw or Nonto. Nonto. My dog is called Oscar. I can't tell you how many times I've been told that throughout my life. The amount of times people are like, oh, I used to have a cat called Oscar. Oh, I've got a dog called Oscar. I guess it's a popular pet name. Thanks, Mum and Dad. White or Tarkowski? White. Prakan says, I've got 2 free transfers. De Bruyne to Salah, Martinelli to Mitoma, or Patterson to Kilman. If you sell Martinelli now, you need to be tripled up in Gameweek 25. That's the only thing. I like the Mitoma move, but there's 2 things there. First of all, you need to be tripled up on Arsenal in Gameweek 25. And secondly, you need to be able to field a full 11 in Gameweek 25 when Mitoma blanks. So, out of those 3 moves, I like KDB to Salah the most. Patterson to Kilman. The thing is, Patterson played 60 minutes this week for the under-21, so he could be back. It depends on the rest of your team. I think Patterson could be handy if you've got... right now, you're looking like you've got 9 players in Game Week 25. You know, I'm taking encouragement that he played for the under-21s. Maybe I'll get just 2 points from him, but I'll take that. Because otherwise I'll be taking a -4 to sell him. I don't like Martinelli to Mitoma unless you can play 11 and 25 and you're tripled up on Arsenal. So if you can sell someone for whatever Arsenal play you don't have, Odegaard, Saka. You could do KDB to Saka, but then that blocks you from getting Salah. So I like KDB to Salah the most. Tatenda says, which site do you recommend to see stats like XGC? I recommend Fantasy Football Scout. Tatenda isn't from Scout and asked me to say that, by the way. Fantasy Football Scout is the one I use. I've been a member literally for 5 years, or almost 6 years now. You can make custom data tables. I'll quickly show you what it looks like. They've got a section, this is the members area. There's loads of areas here on the left, and you can go to My Stats tables and you can create tables, and you can literally use hundreds of different fields that you want to measure. All of these here. And all the stats that I've made, by the way, I've made public. So if anyone does want to join the Scout members area, use the link in the description because that's my affiliate link. But it's really good. So for example, if you go Team XG, this is the XG over the season for all teams. So City at top, 48.6 XG over the season. And then you can filter things like the last 2 game weeks. Oh, you can't see this drop down. Last 2 game weeks, last 6 game weeks, etc. So I use Fantasy Football Scout. Obviously, FPL have added some XG and XGC and stats and all that recently, but it only shows it game by game, player by player. Whereas on Scout, you can filter on certain ranges, like the last 6 weeks to look at form. Or you could look at teams overall, like we did just then. So yeah, if anyone wants to join the Scout members area, my affiliate link is in the description. It might get you a discount as well. Right, how long we got? Just under half an hour to the deadline. Keep your questions coming in. Do I bench Cuckoo? Cuckoo's apparently not in the squad, so yeah, bench him. I don't think he'll be in the squad or play regardless, is my understanding. Start Ake or White? White. Bruno or Trippier? Bruno. Do you mean Bueno? I'd start Bruno. Absolutely start Bruno. Almiron update. I believe Almiron's fine. So's St. Maximan. Almiron or Mahrez? Mahrez. Who'd you move Cuckoo to? Probably one of Tarkowski or Kilman make the most sense this week. They've both got a good fixture. They're both doubling 25. I like Tarkowski slightly more just because he's guaranteed to play. We'll have a quick skim over the fixtures again just to talk about what's coming up, refresh ourselves. Game week 25, Arsenal, Everton, Liverpool and Wolves double, while Brentford, Brighton, Man United and Newcastle blank. I would save your free hit if you've still got it. This isn't the week to use it. There'll be better weeks to use it. So we have to look at this week and start planning now. And that's why the likes of Tarkowski and Kilman make sense, because they've got a home fixture this week and they double in 25. The other double that got announced last week is 27, which is Brighton, Brentford, Crystal Palace and Southampton. So a couple of weeks after the double in 25. So yeah, this is a good looking double because you've got players like Mitoma that you might want, Tony, Ben Mee, maybe a defender like Dunk, goalkeeper like Sanchez, Raya. And then after that is the blank in 28. So we've got blanks and doubles coming up. Game week 28 will be probably the biggest blank game week of the season. Arsenal, Palace, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Everton, Nottingham Forest and Newcastle are the only teams currently guaranteed to play in 28. Wolves and Leeds are the most likely to join that game week. 40% chance of blanking. This graphic's from Ben Krellin if you want to look at this in more detail. So yeah, we're at the point where transfers now also need to have future game weeks in mind. Dimitri says, what's the rationale behind Haaland captain over Rashford? Yeah, I was back and forth between Haaland and Rashford. I just think Nottingham Forest have got a couple of defenders out, first choice defenders. I think that's enough to nudge me in Haaland's way. It's really close, I won't lie, it's really close, because obviously Rashford's expected to play more minutes. It's really close, but yeah, in the end, I'm on Haaland. Maybe there's a little bit of fear there as well. Like if I go for Rashford and he blanks and Haaland gets a hat-trick, that's absolutely brutal for your rank. And my rank's already brutal. Harris says, Oscar, are people not overlooking free hit 32? Yeah, exactly. So, Gameweek 28 is a free hit opportunity. It is the biggest blank game week of the season, but we do have Gameweek 32, which is also a big blank game week. I think basically what we do is we sit tight for now. We can make some transfers that look fine, like making sure we've tripled up on Arsenal in 25. And Liverpool players a good shout because they might play in 28. So Salah in 25 comes in for me for Fernandes. Those sorts of transfers. Tarkowski's guaranteed to play in 28. Yeah, I've still got my free hit, Ilias. I've got my free hit, bench boost, and wildcard. Let's do a poll. How many chips have you guys got left? Two, three. No, wait. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, 4's the max, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, we'll do a poll next on rolling a transfer or not. Why not starting Kepa? I was starting Kepa up until last night, and then there was the news that Reece James, Thiago Silva and Cucurella all aren't in the squad for Chelsea today. So I'm going to have a go on Edison. They are really good on the clean sheet odds. They're second to Chelsea, so there's not much in it, but that's my thinking. What do you guys think? Is that crazy? Or does that make sense? They're missing key players in defence. Southampton new manager bounce perhaps. Well, what would I rank these? Bueno, Trippier and Dalot. Trippier, Bueno, Dalot. In that order. Play Ødegaard or Kane? Kane. Right, how many chips have you got left? 10% have got 1, 23% have got 2, 55% have got 3, and 12% have got 4. We'll do that follow-up poll on transfers this week. Oh, what did I do? Oops. Not rolling. 1, 2, 3 plus. There you go. Get your votes in. Alvin Block says, thoughts on Kelechi? Yeah, I'm looking at him. I think Nketiah is going to become a problem for me once Jesus is back. I think that's pretty clear to see. They've desperately missed Jesus the last couple of games where Nketiah has just not delivered. So I'm wondering where I go from Nketiah. The three in my thinking are Tony, Felix, or Iheanacho. I think Tony makes the most sense, but it just depends on what I plan to do in Game Week 28, because Brentford double in 27, but almost certainly blank in 28. So I'm not sure yet, but yeah, in Iheanacho, quality player. We've seen before that he can be a great FPL asset, a good budget forward. I wouldn't be tempted right now. But yeah, he's one on my watch list for sure. I'm undecided on a chip in 28 as well. Basically, it depends on what happens in the FA Cup. I plan to sell Fernandes for Salah next week. So if Liverpool end up playing in 28, I might be tempted to not use a chip then, because I could afford to just scrape through it. I've got triple Arsenal who play then. Trippier will play them. Almiron will, but I might have sold Almiron by then. Andreas probably plays. Kepa plays. Patterson, if he's back in the team, plays. So I might be okay that week. So it might just come down to what Liverpool do, whether Liverpool play or not. How many transfers are you making? 60% are rolling, 27% are making 1, 10% are making 2, and 3% are making 3. Interesting. 20 minutes till the deadline. We've got 600 likes. If you guys have enjoyed the stream so far, hit like on the stream to support the channel. Hit subscribe if you're not already. Keep your questions coming. Gakpo is a go. I'm not really tempted by Gakpo, I'll be honest. I know he scored last week, but what impact will the return of Jota have on Liverpool? He can play down the left in Gakpo's position. He can play through the middle in Darwin. I think last match he came on for Darwin, and Darwin came off early. But yeah, Jota could replace both, and I want to see a lot more from Gakpo. And I don't think he's going to show us enough before 25, so I think I'll swerve, and I'll probably just stick with Salah. John says, like this stream. I haven't even liked this stream myself, actually. If you're talking to me, John, I've liked it as well now. 710 likes, there we go. Captain and Kilman thoughts. Kilman captain? Surely not. Mav says 2k views and 32 likes. It's on 759 for me. Hopefully it's not 32. Almiron or Darwin? Darwin. Ake or Trippier? Trippier. No, my total points and ranks not correct. I forgot to update it. Transfers is right. I've rolled this week, so 32 transfers. Let's have a very quick look at the most transferred players this week. In fact, we're talking about Felix just now. Felix is the most transferred, 349k transfers. Saka, 311k. Tony, Mahrez, Mitoma, me, Shaw, Tarkowski. There he is. I went on the FPL, the official FPL podcast a few weeks ago, right? And I was on it with Az, and we were talking about Gameweek 25, and I said, let's get the Tarkowski bandwagon going. And then literally the next weekend, Tarkowski scored in that game against Arsenal. So we'll say that was the birth of the Tarkowski bandwagon. He's gone up 4.3 mil. I think he comes in for me next week. I think he does come in for me. But yeah, I wasn't expecting him to score against Arsenal and keep a clean sheet, I have to say. He's just a good cheap enabler. Most sold, Martinelli. Let's update the numbers. 355k. Mitchell Rich is basically even. Almiron, 293k. People still own Cancelo. Erdegaard. Bruno. I think that Bruno has potential to backfire. And the Nketiah one. Wilson, Shared, De Bruyne, Pope. Thanks for the super chat, RSD TV. He says bench Erdegaard, Nketiah or Mitoma. Oh, that's really hard. Probably Erdegaard, but not ideal to be benching any of those three. Erdegaard. I think Mitoma's form can't be ignored. And I think Nketiah comes good this week. So I'd say Erdegaard, but yeah, that could come back to bite you, that one. I wouldn't captain Neves, no. Definitely not Neves. Arsenal leaks. No, Arsenal are really their lips are tightly sealed when it comes to leaks. I don't think we'll get anything. I'll keep checking, but I don't think we'll get anything on Arsenal. So if anyone says anything in chat about Arsenal, ignore it. Mitro or Andreas. Mitro. Ake or Ben White. White. 15 minutes. No Man City news. I don't know if we'll get it because it's a 3 o'clock game. The next game week where City have the first kickoff is Gameweek 26. So we should get something then for the Newcastle game, but it's because it's such a tough game, I think there'll be no surprises there. We'll probably see all of the usual suspects start. De Bruyne, Mahrez, Haaland, etc. Do you think White is going to start? I think White starts, yeah. Martinelli or Messi? Reluctantly, despite my Arsenal bias, I'll have to say Messi there. Messi or Ronaldo, chat? Messi or Ronaldo? Dare I poll that? If you had to pick one. Gomez or Ake? Ake. Kane or Tony? Kane. Start Darwin or Perisic? That's quite close, actually. I think you have to start Darwin there. Bueno or Trent? Trent. Trent or Cher? Trent. Nonto or Botman? Nonto. Trippier or White? Trippier. 72% Messi, 28% Ronaldo. Thanks for the super chat. Again, RSD TV says, my other bench options over Ødegaard are KDB or Mahrez. Massive headache. Any will backfire, it feels. Yeah, someone had a very similar question earlier. They owned Mahrez. I think they owned KDB. And they had to bench one of Ødegaard, Nketiah. Who was the other one? I've forgotten who the other one was now. I think it has to be Ødegaard. I mean, the thing is, I think one of Mahrez or KDB will be benched. I think one of them will be benched this game week, but it's an absolute coin toss, like who it could be. Yeah, and it's one of those, it could backfire, right? You bench Mahrez, he starts and hauls, and KDB's benched. You bench KDB, he starts, Mahrez is benched. It just feels like it's going to, whatever you do, it's going to be the opposite of the right one. But yeah, probably Ødegaard. Malcolm says the Focal FPL Kits website is really good. By the way, I got no experts email for Gameweek 24. Keep up the good work. You got no email? Send me a DM on Twitter, Malcolm. I'll make sure that you're still signed up for it. If not, I can just remove you and sign you up again. I appreciate the shout out to my website as well. If anyone's not aware, fplfocal.com. It's just like a fun little tool where you can create like a custom FPL shirt. You could do whatever you want, really, something like that. I guess like that. You pick a team, literally any team that's been in the Premier League ever. So you could go Arsenal, you could pick any season. So you could go back to like in the Invincibles or whatever. Pick any old shirt. You can even have icons by your name. And then you can click profile photo or banner photo and you can download it. If nothing else, it's quite fun for nostalgia because there's so many old kits here. Who remembers the Sega and Dreamcast sponsorships? JVC. Anyway, if you want to have a fiddle around with that, fplfocal.com. I made it with my little brother. Completely free tool. Free forever. Hamish says Tarkowski or White? White. Thanks for the super chat, Tom Smith, as well. Thank you, Tom. Message redacted. Curious what that message was. True Fandelas, how you doing? He says, bench 1, Mahrez, Ødegaard, or Nketiah. Thanks, mate. Probably Ødegaard, but it's between Ødegaard and Mahrez for me. Mahrez has the potential to be benched. Ødegaard doesn't. Earlier I said Mahrez, but then chat disagreed. It is between Mahrez and Ødegaard, I think. Nketiah you have to start. Mahrez or Ødegaard. Probably Ødegaard, just about. On reflection, Ødegaard. John says you're watching the game. Definitely watching the game. Yeah, if anyone's not in the fplfocal Discord, I'll be on there as soon as the stream finishes. Link below for that. Hamish says Tarkowski or White. I did that, I think. White. Salah or KDB? This week KDB, next week Salah. Basically. As I was saying at the top of this stream, if you can, the takeaway this week is to roll a transfer and then attack Gameweek 25, which is a double and a blank. Oh, yeah, Matoma, Tom. Colleague says, woof woof, I want to focal you, Oscar. Right, thanks for that. Let me check that wasn't Teddy. Where is he? I don't know where he is. Oh, he's under my duvet. I think he's on his phone under the duvet. Thanks, colleague. Bueno or Martinelli? I think I'd give Martinelli a chance. Just because we don't know if Bueno starts again or not. I think he's been benched for the last two, hasn't he, Bueno? And both of those games they've won, including a clean sheet against Liverpool. So, I'd say Martinelli. Might see Aït-Nouri start again. Chelsea news. If anyone's missed it, the Chelsea news is that Reece James isn't in the squad for today's game, nor is Cucurella, Ziyech or Thiago Silva. No James, Ziyech, Cucurella, Thiago Silva. That's pretty much the only leaks that we've got. I don't think we'll get anything regarding City, to be honest with you. I'll keep an eye out just in case, but probably not. Trippier or Trent? Trippier. Now, there's been no news on a Martinelli benching. There was an interesting remark from Arteta on Trossard. He said he's had an impact every time he's been on the pitch, so he's an option. Yeah, I do wonder at some point if Trossard gets a start. He's got the quality to get a start. Obviously, we've seen the early substitutions, Martinelli off for Trossard, but maybe at some point. But I don't know. I've not seen any leaks or anything. I don't know if we'll get any. We don't tend to get anything about Arsenal. I'll keep checking though, but I don't think we'll get anything. Trossard starting confirmed. Where's that come from? I haven't seen that anywhere. White or Tarkowski? White. Bench 1, Shaw, Mbumo, Ødegaard. Mbumo. Nketiah or Felix? If that's who to bring in, then probably Felix. If it's who to start, probably Felix as well. The thing is, right, Arsenal double in 25, so you want to have triple Arsenal one way or another. I think now I'm a bit worried about Jesus' return. It might not come by Gameweek 25, but I think the perfect Arsenal trio now is Ødegaard, Saka, and then a defender like Gabriel. So I think Felix is a good pick, so I'd say Felix. But in terms of the next two game weeks, Nketiah is the better pick. I don't know if you meant who to bring in or who to start. I look like Trossard, do I? I've been told I look like Bamford. I haven't been told I look like Trossard. Thank you, I suppose. White or Estepinian? Estepinian. If anyone's got some 50-50 calls on which defender to start, I'll pull up the clean sheet odds one last time. Obviously, one factor to consider is if a defender's got attacking threat, which Estepinian does, because they're 2% less likely than Arsenal. But I think Estepinian's upside with the attacking threat means I'd start him instead. But if you've got a 50-50 call, like, I don't know, like Kilman or Tarkowski, which one to start, if you have both, then use the clean sheet odds for that. I'll keep an eye out in case we get any last minute news. I don't think we will on City, to be honest with you. I spoke to Team News and Ticks, leaked lineups last night, and I just said, do you think you'll get anything? And he said, not likely, because it's a 3 o'clock game. It's not the first game of the game week. Bench Mitoma or Grealish? Grealish. Short or White? Sure. Yeah, I've not heard anything on Arsenal, unfortunately. I mean, if you hear anything, take it with a pinch of salt. It could be true, but there's nothing. I've got a list on Twitter of reliable leaks and so on. I'm checking my phone as well. Absolutely nothing here, so I don't know. Don't know on Arsenal. But as I said earlier, I wouldn't be at all surprised if Trossard gets a start at some point. I said at the very start of the stream, based on that Arsenal quote that we looked at just now. Don't know if Bueno will start. We talked about him quite a bit. Obviously, it's a shame he's lost his spot just before the Dublin 25. Ain't Nori's done well the last couple of games. They've won both games. They've kept one clean sheet. Ashwin says, now that you've mentioned it, I can't unsee the similarity between you and Bamford. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been called that, but yeah, that's another one. Pratik says Partey didn't travel with the squad, but Smith Rowe did. That's the only Arsenal news that I've seen from a reliable source. John says, hit the like. Yeah, we've got 909 likes, 2,500 tuned in. If you've enjoyed the stream, do hit like on it. Let's get it to 1k. Everyone hit like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I hate to ask, but it helps with the YouTube algorithm, so I have to ask. So thank you for your support. White or Martinelli? I think White. I'd go White. I'm just keeping an eye in case there's any last minute news. Like I said earlier, I don't think we'll get any today. Site crashed. Has it crashed? Not at all surprised. They need to sort that out, to be honest with you. I know it's a free game, but it's an unbelievably powerful marketing tool for the Premier League. And if people are getting like annoyed, they can't make transfers, then people just stop playing, give up. They get frustrated by the app. Site down. fplfocal. Bench Trippier or Mahrez or Rico Lewis. Bench Lewis. Start Trippier and Mahrez. Garnacho or White? White. I look like Valverde. Thank you for that, I think. FPL Bamford. Rebrand. De Bruyne or Fernandes? Well, this week Fernandes is absolutely fine. He's got a good fixture. Next week, there's the option to sell him when he blanks for De Bruyne or Salah when Salah doubles in 25. I look like Crazy 8 from Breaking Bad. Which one was he? Oh, that one. Okay, I just googled it. What's the greatest TV series of all time? Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones. Wire, Band of Brothers, Chernobyl, Sopranos, The Last of Us. The Last of Us has been brilliant. I mean, it's got a long way to go to being the best of all time, but yeah, Last of Us has been unbelievable so far. I never played the game either. It's been so good. The Office is a good shout. Maybe the best comedy of all time. Parks and Recreation is really good as well. Kind of similar to The Office in some ways. Stranger Things. All or Nothing. Depends which one. Didn't enjoy the All or Nothing Arsenal one. The season when we choked the top 4. Gossip Girl. I used to watch that. I can't believe I used to watch that. Back when I was in school, actually, I even set up one where people could anonymously like send in stuff, like the TV show. Walking Dead. No, Walking Dead was so good in the early seasons, and then it was absolutely dead in the later seasons, and I stopped watching it in the end. Natalie says, thoughts on Joe Gomez for the double? No, I wouldn't go there. Van Dijk's back now, so I think Gomez is a massive risk. I wouldn't go there. Really hard to say what the centre-back pairing will be. They've got Matip, they've got Gomez. I don't know if Konate's back, I can't remember. But Van Dijk's back from his injury, so I wouldn't go there. Boardwalk Empire. House of Dragon. Anyway. Blue Peter. Rosie and Jim. Rosie and Jim, what a show. Anyway, that's the deadline. So, I'm not going to stick around for much longer. It's been a good stream, actually. Enjoyed it. Surprisingly good turnout. So, thank you, everyone that made it. Not going to raid anyone today. We're just going to wrap it up there. But if you enjoyed the stream, hit like before you go. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll do. What am I going to say? There's going to be loads of FPL videos to come next week. Loads to talk about ahead of Gameweek 25. And obviously, if you guys watch the Expert Series, the one on Friday next week is going to be an absolute belter because something like 80% rolled the transfer. So there's going to be loads of interesting data to come out of that when they all spend their transfers accordingly. So make sure you subscribe for that. Appreciate you all. Thanks for tuning into the stream. And that's it from me. Enjoy the weekend. Focal out.